Hi, my name is Christina Little. I'm a research associate at the LSU Social Research and Evaluation Center, or SREC. And today I'm demonstrating to providers on how to enter your monthly SOR data. So we'll start at the SOR Data Hub landing page. We'll click on SOR2 because that's the grant that's funding your activities. And then click on CMT2. CMT just stands for Crisis Mobile Team. And that's just the page that we put your form under. So that's why you're clicking CMT2. And I'm entering my login credentials. Before we go into the report page, I do want to point out that if you need to change your email address or password, you can do so by clicking on account settings. It'll probably have you log in after you change it. All right, so we'll go ahead and go to the monthly provider report page by clicking on the button. And we're going to see a table of the previous entries under our site and a button to add a new report. It doesn't matter who put in these entries, as long as the provider was Oxford Homes, I will be able to see those entries here and be able to edit them. So let's go ahead. You see I already have test entries I put in for July and August. So let's say I'm trying to catch up for the summer and I want to put in a June report. So I'm going to go and add monthly report. And you'll see that the first two fields here, provider type and site, are pre-filled in for me. Provider type, you won't be able to change, but provider site, for some of you, you're documenting under multiple sites. So just make sure you choose the right site under the drop-down box. We're going to pick June, and 2021 is the only year right now you can pick. So in this form, you can report the number of overdose reversals, the number of SBIRTs or screenings, referrals to treatment, screening, brief interventions, referrals to treatment, and a number of telehealth visits, and the number of Narcan kits you distributed. These may not all be relevant to your provider, so make sure you check with your program monitor or OBH to know which of these indicators you need to report from your provider under this grant. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in all of the forms. So we'll say I had 10 overdose reversals, 15 SBIRTs, and 20 telehealth visits. If you didn't distribute Narcan for that month of that report, or you don't report it, just leave it at no, but we'll say that we did and we do. And first thing you're going to see is you need to choose your audience type to be able to put in the data. For the provider users, the most common audience types you're going to choose are active users, the family member or friend of user, and individuals in recovery. And you saw that each time I chose a new audience type, then two fields were populated to say the number that were educated on Narcan in that audience group and the number of Narcan kits you gave out. So I'm going to say I educated 10 active users and gave them 10 Narcan kits. We'll say the same for family. We'll keep it simple. And as I fill in these fields, notice these are my totals, total number of Narcan kits I distributed for that month, and the total number that were educated, and they're automatically tallied as I'm entering the data. So now we've got 30 educated, and now I've got 30 Narcan kits distributed. Now let's say that you didn't document the audience type, or somebody else didn't document the audience type, but obviously you still have to report those kits going out, right? So we're going to go into the field of the audience type. We're going to scroll all the way down and click other/unknown audience type. And wants to know the name of that, we're just going to put unknown. And we'll put in another 10 here. 10 that were educated, and 10 kits, Narcan kits, were given to the unknown audience type, or that could be other if it doesn't fit any of the parameters on that list. And in order to save the data, you're going to click submit. And now that's going to be a new row that appears on our table for the main monthly provider report form. And there we go. So here's our June report that we just put in. And let's say that I'm eyeballing it and I see 10 overdose reversals in a month. Seems like kind of a lot. Double check my data, and sure enough, that 0 was a typo. So it really was 1. For overdose reversals, the experts and the telehealth visits, if you need to edit or correct data, it's super easy. You can actually just click in the cell of that row for that report and do it right there. Submit. It's that easy. But for Narcan distribution or educated, nothing's happening when I click in it, because remember that was a formula that was tallied by all of those other fields we completed. So let's say that I figured out who those unknown audience were who received those Narcan kits. I need to go in and correct it. I'm actually going to click on edit next to that row, and it's going to bring me back to the entire form. And I'll be able to go ahead and add in, so let's say instead it was active users. So I had 10 unknown. Actually, we add those 10 to those 10 active users. And I'm going to do this the lazy way so that you can kind of see that this is hard to mess up. Let's say I don't even delete these. I just X this out here, other unknown audience type. That's how we get rid of the other unknown audience type. But I do need you to do that if that's something that needs to be deleted. And you'll see that we still have the total of 50 because it's still tallying that invisible audience, other audience type. And that's okay because it's going to correct it once we save it. But that it can help, because let's say you hadn't saved it yet and you realize you X'd out of the wrong one. If I go and add it back in, my data is still there. So that's the good thing. So we're going to X out of it and submit it to save our changes. And yes, it's back to 40. So I do also want to point out that if you if you edit a document, it's going to change that last updated column to the current date. And hopefully that's helpful so that you know if someone else completed that month for your site, you got new data, it's easy to site check the last data was updated to know, oh, these aren't the updated numbers. Also, if you ever have trouble accessing your account or navigating the site, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at shrekdatahub@lsu.edu.